So speaking of immigration, the immigration raids that are part of this mass deportation effort have begun. President Trump had told us, or at least his transition team had made it public, that they were going to start these mass deportations on Tuesday following the inauguration. And that's exactly what happened. These immigration raids have begun. And it's very important for you and I to sit here and recognize that those who are being targeted by these immigration raids for deportation are violent criminals. Let me repeat. Those who are being targeted first for deportation are violent criminals. So, obviously, this is for the safety of you and your family. It's also great PR, because what kind of despicable, disgusting mainstream media outlet or Democrat politician can come out against this? Oh, you want a rapist who assaulted a child? You want that person to stay. You think that violates some core of American melting pot values to have the man who robbed someone else at gunpoint be sent back to the country that he came from? Who can argue with this? Well, Axios is trying to argue with it. We'll bring this up on the screen here. They tweeted this yesterday. Axios. This is supposed to be like a wire. Oh, did they delete it? Oh my gosh, Tim, I clicked on that link and they deleted their tweet. That is so funny. Okay, this segment just got way more interesting. Axios had posted on X last night. I saw this late last night, claiming that these mass deportations or these immigration raids violate Christian values. And I laughed because Axios is supposed to be this like objective. Is this the, oh, Tim was giving me the exact words for it. But they had claimed that these mass deportations and immigration raids were against Christian values, which we'll get to the substance of that argument in a second, which is stupid and invalid. But it's funny because Axios is not like, it's not like Rachel Maddow, who's an opinion host who disagrees with Trump's agenda. Axios styles themselves as being an objective news wire, and that they just can't help themselves by trying to, they're pandering. They're not even like practicing Christians themselves, most likely. They're just trying to use your belief system against you and against Trump. So this is what their tweet said. President Trump's flurry of orders restricting immigration and promising mass deportations violates core Christian principles of caring for the poor and needy, religious leaders in multiple denominations said. Oh, religious leaders in multiple denominations. Like that priestess, the priestess from the National Cathedral who was lecturing Trump about trans men who want to go into women's bathrooms being scared now that he's president. Is that the kind of religious leader you're talking about? So I want to, first of all, that's so funny that Axios, did they actually delete that, Tim, or is it just not working on my browser? They did. They deleted it. Why? Oh, we should ask them. We should send them an email and ask them why they deleted that. Guys, go on X right now, tag Axios and ask them why they deleted that. I want to hear their response because I'm pretty sure the real reason is that they were getting ratioed so hard. Ratioed, of course, is when they get so many critical and negative responses that they can't handle the heat. So they ran out of the kitchen. That would be my guess, but let's go ahead and hold their feet to the fire and ask them why they deleted this. Okay, so that part's hilarious. I think that is a wonderful development that they deleted this tweet. What absolute cowards. Absolute cowards. Of course, their premise here that mass deportations and restriction of immigration, illegal immigration, violates core Christian principles of caring for the poor and needy is absolutely false. And I know that there are people of all religious denominations, all religious beliefs who watch this show, but I do want to address this for a moment, regardless of whether you're Christian or whether you're practicing Christian. You should know what the rebuttal is to this, because this is going to be, mark my words here, this is going to be the strategy that the left uses to try to counter all of Trump's immigration stuff, because they can't claim that these illegal aliens aren't violent. We all know what happened to Laken Riley. Her name is a household name across the country. They can't claim that these are just families and children who are trying to escape imminent danger. That's not true. We know it's not true. And they cannot escape the reality that Joe Biden invited these people here and implemented policies at the federal level that made this border crisis a crisis. And so this is the strategy they're going to use. So let me tell you how to respond to this strategy. The Catechism of the Catholic Church is extremely clear about Christians duty of care to migrants. And this is what the Catechism of the Catholic Church says. It's 2241 for those who want to reference this or read it themselves. The Catechism of the Catholic Church says the more prosperous nations are obliged, to the extent they are able, to welcome the foreigner in search of the security and means of livelihood which he cannot find in his country of origin. Public authorities should see to it that the natural right is respected that places a guest under the protection of those who receive him. So let me interject here. The key phrase here is to the extent they are able. Are we in the United States? We are a very prosperous nation. There is no denying that. We are wealthy. We are prosperous. We have excess of almost everything. Are we able to welcome, let's say, everyone in the world? Well, in a sense, from purely a charitable standpoint, wouldn't it be great if we could increase the standard of living for everyone who is struggling, everyone who is in need? But the reality, of course, is that we can't. Just as me and my husband, with our 2 children, our duty is to care for our 2 children first. I can't give away all of my money, sell all of my possessions to help others who might be in need at the expense of my children. The same goes for our country. Our country, we have a responsibility to help our fellow Americans first, and think about what we're struggling with. Think about the 70,000 young people in our country who die every year from fentanyl overdoses. Think of the jobs that are taken from Americans who are trying to support themselves, buy food for their families, that are taken by illegal aliens or migrants. This is detrimental to us taking care of ourselves. So to the extent that prosperous nations are able is something that we should actually be debating among Christian circles, not saying, oh, you didn't welcome someone who needed help. The Catechism goes on to say political authorities, for the sake of the common good for which they are responsible, may make the exercise of the right to immigrate subject to various judicial conditions, especially with regard to the immigrant's duties towards their country of adoption. So what does this mean? This means that the Catechism of the Catholic Church, the preeminent authority on Christian doctrine, says that countries have a right to secure our borders. We have a right to self-definition. We have a right to enforce our laws. We have a right to enforce our immigration laws. And even more specifically, we have a right to subject immigration laws to immigrants assimilating into our American values. This is Christian doctrine. So I don't know, Lady Priestess at the National Cathedral. I don't think she's really the authority that you should be listening to, or that Axios is quoting, because Axios is Axios. If the United States is able to say that you only have the right to immigrate here if you do it legally, we have that right. And even then, they can place certain restrictions or requirements on who can come and what they must do. It does not say that we have to implement an open borders policy. It does not say that we are morally obligated to redistribute the wealth. It does not say that we are morally obligated to allow our daughters to be assaulted and raped. It does not say we are morally obligated to allow gang members like MS-13 to come into our nation and infiltrate our cities and cause crime to skyrocket. It does not say. The Catechism says immigrants are obliged to respect with gratitude the material and spiritual heritage of the country that receives them, to obey its laws, and to assist in carrying civic burdens. Which means, if an immigrant comes to our country and does not respect the Christian heritage of our country, does not respect the capitalist heritage of our country, does not obey our laws, by crossing here illegally, taking advantage of our welfare system, not paying taxes, violating our laws, committing our crimes, we have no Christian duty to allow them to destroy our country. In fact, as Christians, we have the opposite duty. So with that being said, let's see who trumps ICE arrested and whether or not you think it's the Christian thing to let these people reside here where they can threaten and harm your wife, your family, your sister, your daughter, your son, your middle schooler, your neighbor. Bill Maluchin of Fox News showed us exactly who ICE is arresting in Boston. This is who it is. Take a look.
Good morning, everyone.
It's a frigid 5 degrees in the pre-dawn hours just outside of Boston, where this team of elite ICE officers is briefing on their targets for the day.
We're going to be targeting some extremely violent offenders today.
Within moments, the officers are on the move, with eyes on their first target.
Looks like we got movement, target vehicle coming out.
They quickly take him into custody. He's an MS-13 gang member wanted in El Salvador for aggravated murder. And he has an Interpol red notice out for his arrest.
We are targeting very violent threats to our community.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Little Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
Perhaps, oddly enough, truer words have never been spoken. Biden forever. Thank Obama for what he did for me. And then this Haitian gang member with 17 criminal convictions says F Trump. This is who Trump is deporting. And not only is this the right thing to do, it's the Christian thing to do. Make no mistake about that. Don't let leftists twist scripture to make you feel badly for wanting violent freaks out of your country and for being concerned with America's common good.